Hello everyone, my name is Manas Maheshwari and welcome to my project video. Today I'll be showing you a web app that I built called the Text to Doodle Generator. It's a fun tool that creates doodles based on the text you enter using a API to generate the doodles. In this video, I'll walk you through the technologies I used and how the project works. I'll also explain how to set up the API and how to push your code on GitHub. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear idea of how to build a project like this and get started on your own. So let's get started. So this is a text to doodle generator web application. I'd used React, Axios and CSS to build this. And the API that I had used for this project is Stability AI. So I will be talking about the key components and API in detail further in the video. So let's talk about the functionalities. So the functionalities in this project is a text input. The user enters a prompt into the text area and this text is used to generate the doodle. The other one is the button action. Upon clicking the generate doodle button, the app sends a request to the Stability AI API. The API call. The app uses Axios to make a post request to the image generation API. It sends a form data payload containing the prompt entered by the user and the desired output format is a JPEG doodle image. Okay, so let me show you how this works. So it says enter your doodle prompt here. So we'll write the prompt say happy birthday Abhishek. Okay. Now when I click the generate doodle button, it's generating. Okay, so it will generate a doodle like this. So we had written the prompt happy birthday Abhishek and it generated a doodle like this. So as you can see, I have opened the Vite documentation here. Vite is the tool I used to build my project and I want to explain why. So the main reason I chose Vite is because it's really fast. When you make changes to the code, it only reloads the part you are working on, which saves a lot of time. This is great for project like mine, where I'm constantly making updates. If you look at the documentation, you can see how easy it is to set up Vite with just a couple of commands. You can start a new project, plus Vite has a built-in server that automatically refreshes the page whenever you make the changes, so you don't have to keep reloading it yourself. So as you can see here, there are many supported templates that are present like vanilla, React, etc. And if you are using npm, then it's like very easy to create your React app. You just need to copy this command and just replace uh, this view with React all small, and here you can write the name that you want to give to your React app. Uh, so using Vite made my development process faster and smoother, and setting it up was really simple. That's why I recommend it for anyone starting a new web project in React. So yeah, and there are also many other things that you can explore using this documentation. Okay, so now I will talk about the official React documentation. Uh, it's a really helpful documentation when you are just starting to learn React and using it to implement your projects. So This documentation is really helpful when you are just starting out. So React seems complicated at first, but the official documentation breaks everything down in a way that's easy to understand. So, like this installation, if you are not using Vite for installation of your React app, then you can see the steps given here to start a new React project, like the commands that are used for setting up your React app. And it also has a playground like the React compiler, which can be used to run your codes, so that online you can run the codes online on the React compiler so that you can see the output of your codes. And it is a very vast documentation, like you can search anything here. For example, the use state function that is used in React, and you can explore many things here from here, like what are the returns of the use state function, and like many things you can explore from this documentation. And I also had uh, used this documentation while creating this project. uh, there are some APIs you can study about: hooks, components, what are client APIs, what are server APIs. All right, so now I will be explaining the few key tools and technologies that I used uh, so that everything worked smoothly. So, firstly is React. React is a popular JavaScript library for building user interfaces, especially like single page applications. And now I'll talk about Axios. I used Axios for handling the HTTP requests, and it's promise-based library that simplifies making requests to external APIs, especially for sending data like the prompt and handling binary image responses. I used Axios instead of Fetch API because it has better error handling, and it supports older browsers and simplifies working with request and response data. So, uh, if you want to install Axios to handle the HTTP requests, you can use this command npm install Axios. It's just a one line command. So yeah, it's easy. Now next I used Stability AI API. The core of this project is generating a doodle based on the text user provides. So for that I used the Stability AI API. This API takes a text prompt and returns an image generated by the AI model. And this API allows us to create visually interesting images with minimal effort. And there are few other APIs, like the one I used is a text to image API, and there are other APIs like image to image or image to video that I'll be talking about in further section. Next is I used the form data. It's an easy way to package data for a post request. Uh, so it was used to send the user's text prompt and the desired output from the API. It ensures the data is sent in the right format to the API. Like the uh, user is just writing the text prompt, but to ensure that the data is sent right in the right format to the API, I had used form data. And I'd used basic CSS for styling. Was like just a basic CSS for alignment and giving colors to the website. And Now let's talk about the state management, which was done using the useState function. So in React, the useState hook is specially for managing the state of the application. For example, what I am using is it is for tracking three things in the state. First is the text entered by the user. The second is the image URL after the doodle is generated, and the third is whether the app is in a loading state when the request is being processed. Managing state like this helps ensure that the app responds to the user's actions immediately and updates the interface accordingly. Okay, so now let's see how the use state has worked in our project. So we have a piece of state called text, and initially it is set as an empty string because when the app loads, the user hasn't typed anything yet. So it is like empty. Now the next, when the user starts typing in the text, we call the set text function to update the text state whenever user types. So this is the text area, and we have called the set text uh, function with the value that the user has typed. Now, every time the user types, React re-renders the component with the updated text value, and this allows us to always have the latest user input. Next is we have used the use state for the same thing happens when we receive the image URL from the API. We initialize the image URL to an empty string initially, and after the doodle is generated and returned by the API, we update the image URL state with the actual URL. Like we call the set URL button, set URL option function. Okay, so we set the image URL with the URL of the image. This changes the triggers. This change triggers React to re-render the component and the image is displayed on the page. Now uh, we have managed the loading state uh, using the use state. Now uh, at start we have set the loading state to be false because initially when the app starts, the user hasn't written any text input. So uh, when he clicks on the generate doodle button, we set the loading as true, and then after when the API has uh, sent the doodle image after generating it, we again set the loading to false. So useState was very helpful to build this project, and you can explore more about useState through the React documentation. So now let's move forward and see how you can get the Stability AI API and the key for the API. So we will search Stability AI API, and we'll go to Stability AI developer platform. Now here a short documentation is given on how to get started, and let me tell you that for every image or video or any type of text that you generate, uh, it will charge you some credits for generating them. It's like the currency for them that is consumed when we are calling the API. And the amount of credits consumed per request will vary across models and modalities. So when you log in with a email, you get 25 free credits, but after after they have been exhausted, you can get additional credits by purchasing uh, at a rate of $1 per 100 credits. Or you can use another email. So first of all, we are going to sign up to this Stability AI. You can either sign up using the email address and password or continue with Google. I will continue with Google. Okay, so as you can see, I have logged in. Now, now for getting the API links, we will go to API reference. Here you can explore on the different APIs that are present. Like there are few for 3D videos, image to video APIs, and like we are going to use the generate image APIs. So basically there are three APIs: the stable image ultra. You can read about it from here. Like it's a post request, and the output, the resolution of the generated image will be 1 megapixel. Resolution is 1024 x 1024, and the credits that will be charged are 8 credits. So you have to uh, so you have to check the credits that will be used for generating the image beforehand before using any API, because you have limited credits if you are using the free version. So one is the Ultra, another is one is the Image Core. I have used this Image Core API. This is also a post request API, and uh, based on your language, you can select Python, JavaScript, or CURL, and it will give you a code on how to use this API for fetching the data. And also, it will be the image will be of 1.5 megapixels. I don't know the size, like the resolution is not given. And the flat rate is like 3 credits per successful generation, and it will not be charged for failed generations. And there are some documentations that you can read so that you understand how this API works. And yeah, and the third one is the Stable Diffusion 3 API. This is also a post request API. You can select the code that you uh, based on the language that you have used to build your web page. Like I'd use JavaScript, so this will be the code. And again, the output is given. Resolution is 1024 x 1024, and the credits are like different for different type of images. Now next we will talk about the stability API key, the how to get it. The and this is the documentation for this particular API. And you can also look at the responses, like the 200 is for generation was successful, and you can also see the details on how the data will be sent and the seed, etc. And there are other error codes like 400, 403, the 500 internal error occurred problem. And these are some upscale APIs. So you can explore at this stability AI developer platform the different APIs, and you can choose which one you want for your project. Now next we will see on how to generate your API key. So now let's see how you can generate your personal API key for accessing the API. You will click on this account page button and it will redirect you to this keys section, account keys page. Here you can see a API key, a default API key is generated for you. And if you want to generate more API keys, you can just click on create API key and it will generate a new API key for you. So this was the older one and this is the new one. Now for checking your account, you can like just see your account here and the billing section is here. You can see how much credits are left. Minus 0.8 credits left, and you can buy more credits from here. And yeah, so this is how you can access your API URL and the API key. Okay, so now we will see how to create a GitHub repository and push the code on the repository. So here we will write the name of our repository. Say we'll write doodle generator. You can choose to make this public or private as your wish, and you can also check a box like add a readme. This will add a default readme by itself, and if you do not check this box, you will have to write the readme file yourself. So uh, it's up to you. Now we will create the repository. Okay, so our repository has been created. This is the link for the Git repository. Now we will go on our VS Code and we will open the terminal here. Now first we need to ensure that Git is installed on the system. So you can install, you can like check if Git is installed or not using this command git minus minus version. So if it is downloaded, it will tell you uh, the Git version, and if it's not downloaded, then it will give you some error. And in that case, you will have to download the Git first from the official Git website, and then run the installer to the exe installer to configure Git on your system. Okay, so Git after the Git has been successfully installed, you can check its version using git minus minus version, and even if you have installed the Git and still it is giving you some error, then you can reinstall Git or you can update Git. Now moving further, uh, we will write a command git init. What this command will do is it will initialize a new Git repository in your project folder. It creates a hidden .git directory where the Git will track the changes in your project files, and you only need to run this once for a project. So we have initialized our Git repository. Now the next step is to add all the files to Git. So we will write git add and a period dot. So this dot represents that all files uh, will get added at once, and you will not have to write the git add command for every file individually. It has given some warnings, but the warnings can be ignored. But if you are getting any error, then you will have to resolve it. Now this command adds all the files in your project to the staging area. The staging area is like a holding zone where Git gathers the changes you want to commit. Now next is we will commit these changes. So the command for commit is git commit -m, and in this double quotes you will write your message like new commit or initial commit or whatsoever message you want to write there. And when you click enter, the uh, your all the changes in the staging area will get committed. Now next is uh, you have created the repository on GitHub, so we will add the remote origin link here. So the command for it is git remote add origin, and after origin you'll have to paste the file, yeah, the URL of the git you have to paste there. So we will copy this. I think it has copied. Now we will paste it here. You can paste it using shift insert or control shift V. When you click enter, the git remote will get added. This command links your local Git repository to a remote GitHub repository. Origin is the default name Git gives to the remote repository, and the URL is the GitHub repository address that you just created. So it was the link of the repository that we had created. Now further, you can check the status if all the files were committed successfully or not. Git status. So if all the files are committed successfully, it will give you a message like on branch main nothing to commit, working tree clean. You can see what are the Git branches that are present. So you can just type Git branch, and it will tell you the branches that are present and the branch which you are working on. So it's main here. And now to push the committed changes to the GitHub repository, we will write git push -u origin main. Main is the branch name. You can create a new branch using the git branch and then the name of the branch. So it will create a new branch for you. And accordingly, you can push to a particular branch using the git push -u origin and then the branch name. So here our branch name is main, so we will write main. And please check the git branch here. मतलब like it can be master here for some of you. So yeah, when we will push, when we'll press enter. Uh, so it says that all the committed changes have been pushed to the repository, and you can again check using the git status. So it will say that your branch is up to date and nothing to commit, working quickly. So we can also check the GitHub repository here. We'll reload it. Let's see if the files have, yeah. So every file has come, and README uh, has been created by VTech. So this is the content of the README file, and so thank you.